Okay, ladies and gentlemen, we are going to go ahead and go over this warm-up. I am recording me going over the warm-up because my document camera is here. I don't have it at home anymore. So my afternoon classes need to be able to watch me solve them as well. So thank you guys for that. So we're going to go ahead and take a look. Now remember, when it says find the solution, your answer is always an ordered pair x, y. Each of these are lines. We know they're lines because the highest power for any of them is x, and there's both an x and a y. So we know that these are going to be straight lines. Now when we're looking for a solution, all that is where two lines intersect. Now, this is really important because we're about to do this next chapter in 9, but we're going to be doing with inequalities. So we're going to be graphing them, and then we're going to be shading different parts of them. So we want to make sure that we feel comfortable when they're just plain lines before we turn them into inequalities. So let's go ahead and take a look at this first one. We have y is equal to 6x minus 11, and negative 2x minus 3y is equal to negative 7. Now, we're using the substitution method for this first one. And that means I know that y is equal to 6x minus 11. So I'm going to rewrite this second one right here. And when I hit that y, I'm not going to write y. I'm going to write what y is equivalent to, which is 6x minus 11. Now, remember, you want to have all the right answers on your paper. So if you have different work, you kind of want to make a little line and kind of make sure that you have all of that work because you will be able to use this on your test. And there are these questions on the test. So we're going to go ahead and write negative 2x minus 3. We hit the y, so we pause. We start our set of parentheses, and we replace what y is equivalent to from the first equation, which is 6x minus 11. Now we go back down to the equation that we're copying it into, and we finish it up, is equal to negative 7. Okay, so we have just done the substitution portion. We have substituted for y what y is equal to from that first equation. Now we're going to go ahead and simply solve for x. Notice by doing that, I no longer have a y and an x. I have just x's, and when I just have one variable, I can solve for that variable. So I'm going to go ahead and distribute. I have a number outside of that set of parentheses. That means we're going to multiply it by each item on the inside. So I have negative 2x. Negative 3 times 6x is negative 18x. Negative 3 times negative 11 is positive 33, and that's equal to negative 7. Now we're going to go ahead and combine like terms on the left-hand side of the variable. I have a negative 2x minus 18x. So because they're both plain x's, we want to go ahead and combine them by combining their coefficients. So I have negative 2x minus 18x, which is negative 20x, plus 33 is equal to negative 7. Now I'm going to subtract 33 from both sides to get my numbers away from my variable. These cancel, and I have negative 20x is equal to negative 7 minus 33 is negative 40. We're going to finish solving for x by doing the opposite operation of multiplying by negative 20, which is dividing by negative 20. Negative 20 divided by negative 20 is 1, and 1 times x is x. So x is equal to negative 40 divided by negative 20 is positive 2. So I'm going to set up my answer, and I know that my x value of the place where they intersect is going to be 2. Now I'm halfway there. I know it's going to be somewhere at 2 on the x-axis, and now I need to find the y. Conveniently, my first term in this case, already has my y isolated. And so I'm simply going to plug in 2 for x because I know that that is what x is equal to. So I'm going to have y is equal to 6. X is actually 2 minus 11. Y is equal to 12 minus 11. Y is equal to 1. So I know that my y is going to be 1. So my answer is the ordered pair 2, 1 for that first problem. Now I'm going to go ahead and go to the Desmos graphing calculator, and we're going to go ahead and type those in. And you will be able to see where those lines are going to intersect. Yeah. And it's a good answer check when you're doing that. So we have on our Desmos, y equals 6x minus 11. And we have negative 2x minus 3y is equal to negative 7. And as you can see, when I click on where they intersect, you can see that they intersect at the ordered pair 2, 1. Okay, so that's our check for that. And that's what we're seeing. Now, what we're going to be doing next chapter is instead of that, it's going to be an inequality like this. And as you can see, when I said that y is less than that, we shade one half of it. So we're going to have different shading portions. I always recommend for that what you guys are going to do is go ahead and I have colored pencils for you to use, but people like to kind of have their own. So we will be using colored pencils for shading that. Okay, let's go ahead and take a look at our second problem. Our second problem here, we're going to use elimination. Or we could use substitution if we rewrote this one so y was equal to it. But we're going to go for elimination just so we can see another technique. Now for elimination, we want one of them to be opposite of each other because we're going to add them together and one of our variables is going to cancel out. So if you take a look, here I have a 3x and a 2x. Those aren't really close to being opposites of each other. Here I have a negative 2y and a positive y. That's pretty close because one is negative and one is positive. So the opposite of negative 2y is positive 2y. So we're going to go ahead and multiply every term on both sides of that second equation by 2 so we can make our y's opposite of each other. So 2 times 2x is 4x. 2 times positive y is positive 2y. And don't forget the right side. 2 times 14 is 28. Okay, so I've rewritten that. They're equivalent as long as I do the same thing to every term on both sides. It stays the same line. And then I'm just going to go ahead and write my second equation right underneath so they're on top of each other when I add them together. Okay, so that's the same as that original first equation. Now I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to add them together because I see that my y's are opposite. 4x plus 3x is 7x. 2y minus 2y cancels out. I drop down my equal sign, and 28 minus 7 is 21. So I'm going to go ahead and divide both sides by 7. And so x is equal to 3. So I'm going to go ahead and set up my answer, and I'm going to put 3 in my x position. Now, we need to go ahead and solve for y now. I can plug in either the first equation or the second equation to get the correct answer. However, I'm going to go ahead and pick my original second equation right here because y is already a plain y, and I want to solve for y. If I pick this first one, I'm going to have to divide by -2 at one point to get y isolated. So we're going to go ahead and rewrite this equation, but when we get to x, we're going to put parentheses and solve for what x really is, which we know is 3. So that's going to be 2 times 3 plus y is equal to 14. 2 times 3 is 6, so 6 plus y is equal to 14. We're going to subtract 6 from both sides, and y is equal to 14 minus 6 is 8. So these two lines are going to intersect. They're going to cross themselves at the ordered pair 3, 8. Okay? Like I said, this is going to be on the Chapter 8 quiz on Monday, and it's going to be on the Chapter 8 test, which is going to be actually the Monday after that.